Having addressed the question of who between the Kenya Kwanza coalition and Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition is entitled to appoint the leader of the majority party, allow me to discharge my responsibilities under Standing Order 19A4 and 24 with respect to the leadership of the House in the 13th Parliament. Honorable members, allow me now to address the House on the fate of the letters from Jeremiah Kioni before I come to that point. The Secretary General of the Jubilee Party, which I mentioned in my communication on Tuesday, 4th October. The Jubilee Party, and indeed any other parliamentary party, is at liberty to designate its party leaders and whips by dint of the provisions of Standing Order 20A, which provides for the recognition of parliamentary parties. Specifically, the Standing Order provides that a parliamentary party has the right to designate a leader and whip of the party in the House for purposes of the transaction of the business of the House. However, in parliamentary practice, the House frowns upon any purported communication emanating from strangers, especially if the matter relates to the internal organization of sections within the House. This is intended to ensure that the House only deals with persons that it can interact with and hold to account should need arise. For clarity, Standing Order 28.3 provides, and I quote, the names of the members designated as party whips shall be communicated to the Speaker in writing by the leader of the majority party on behalf of the majority party, by the leader of the minority party on behalf of the minority party, and the leader of a parliamentary party in the National Assembly in a case of a parliamentary party that is not part of the coalition forming the majority party or the minority party. In order to facilitate the transaction of the business of the House, the leader of the majority party and the leader of the minority party are required to forward to me the names of members who shall sit in the 5 critical committees that I mentioned earlier. Honorable members, Standing Order 1711F provides that apart from the House leadership, the House Business Committee consists of 9 other members nominated by the parliamentary parties, reflecting the relative majorities and taking into consideration the interests of parties other than parliamentary parties and independents. Furthermore, honorable members, Standing Order 1711C provides that besides the House leadership, the Committee on Selection consists of not less than 11 and not more than 21 members nominated by the parliamentary parties, reflecting the relative majorities and taking into consideration the interests of parties other than parliamentary parties and independents. Standing Order 2041 provides that apart from the leadership of the House, Committee on Appointments consists of not more than 15 other members nominated by the House Business Committee on the basis of proportional party membership, taking into account consideration the numerical strength of the parties and interests of independents. Honorable members, upon formation of the committees on selection, I will be asking the party leadership to nominate members for appointment to the rest of the committees within particular priority to the Budget and Appropriations Committee and the National Government Constituency Development Fund Committee. It is imperative that in nominating the members of the committees, majority and minority leaders should, as much as possible, take into account and consideration the gender representation, the need for national balance, and the interests of parties other than parliamentary parties, and indeed the independents. As to the completeness of the membership of the aforementioned committees, you will note that I have reserved some slots for independent members in each of the 3 committees whose nomination ratios I have specified. This is to ensure adherence to the standing orders, which require the recognition of the various shades of opinion represented in the House. As my predecessor noted in the 12th Parliament, the Speaker should protect the independent members and small parties in the nomination to and discharge from committees. Honorable members, in summary, therefore, my considered determination on the matter raised is as follows. 1. Alleged coercion. That the consideration of the various allegations of coercion and duress at the time of entering into coalition agreements and an appropriate remedy for the same lies outside the authority of this House. 2. The place of members of UDM, PA, MCCP, and MDG. That in my considered opinion, it would be imprudent to treat the 14 members elected to the House under the UDM, Pamoja African Alliance, Maendeleo Chap Chap, and the Movement for Democracy and Growth, MDG, as part of a coalition that they have expressly distanced themselves from and their parties. I am therefore persuaded that the 14 members and their parties are part of the Kenya Kwanza coalition. This, in my view, would be fair and in accordance with the previous rulings by my predecessors on related matters. 3, that with the 14 members, the membership of the Kenya Kwanza coalition stands at 179 members, while the membership of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party stands at 157 members. This, by implication, indicates that the Kenya Kwanza coalition is the majority party, and the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party is the minority party in this House. 4, that the Kenya Kwanza coalition is entitled to appoint the leader of the majority party, while the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party is entitled to appoint the leader of the minority party. Consequent upon the foregoing, honorable members, the leadership of the majority party will be as follows. The member for Kikuyu constituency, the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah. All the honorable members, can the members take their seats? The member for Kilifi North, the Honorable Owen Baya, is the deputy leader of the majority party. The member for South Mugirango, the Honorable Silvanos Osoro, is the majority party whip. The member for Marsabit County, the Honorable Naomi Jilo Wako, is the deputy majority whip. Leadership of the minority party. That with regard to the minority party, the member for Ugunja, the Honorable Opio Wandai, is the leader of the minority party. The member for Kadiani, the Honorable Robert Mbui, is the deputy leader of the minority party. The member for Suna East, the Honorable Junet Muhammad, is the minority party whip. And the nominated member, the Honorable Sabina Chege, is the deputy minority whip. The letters from the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party, I have already touched on those and we need not bother about them. That with respect to the House Business Committee, the leader of the majority party, the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, and the leader of the minority party, the Honorable Opio Wandai, are directed to submit not more than 4 members each to my office latest by 10 a.m. on Tuesday, 11th October 2022. That with respect to the composition of the Committee on Selection, the leader of the majority party and the leader of the minority party are to submit 10 members and 9 members respectively to my office by the same date. That composition of the Committee on Appointments, that with respect to the composition of the Committee on Appointments, the leader of the majority party, the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, MP, and the leader of the minority party, the Honorable Pio and I, MP, are to submit not more than 7 members each to my office latest 10 a.m. on Tuesday, 11th October 2022. That upon receipt of the names of the members of the House Business Committee, the clerk is hereby directed to cause the list to be published in the order paper on Tuesday, 11th October 2022. The clerk is also directed to ensure that the names of the members to serve in the Committee on Selection and the Committee on Appointments are presented to the House Business Committee when the committee sits on Tuesday, 11th October 2022. That while it will be construed in the interim that the minority party has designated its leadership, the leader of the minority party, the Honorable P.O. Wandai MP, is hereby required to regularize the designation of the whip and the deputy whip of the minority party according with the requirements of Standing Order 20A3. Remember, previously we were notified by the Honorable Junet. It's actually now the Honorable Wandai to notify the leadership and the Speaker on who your whips are. That with respect to any member belonging to any party other than a parliamentary party, as your Speaker, I will endeavor to ensure the power afforded to me by Standing Order 174-2B is upheld. I will not accept or approve any list of committee membership that does not take into account the interests of independent members and parties other than parliamentary parties, the ones we commonly refer to as small parties. That pursuant to Standing Order 259, the marked seats in the front row of the chamber to my right and to my left are reserved for the persons occupying the offices of leadership of the majority party and the leadership of the minority party, respectively. That in accordance with Article 108 of the Constitution, the Parliamentary Service Act 209 and Standing Order 19, the Clerk of the National Assembly is hereby directed to take the necessary measures to facilitate the leadership of the House that has been appointed to move into their respective offices and access all other entitlements relating to their offices as has been approved by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission and the Parliamentary Service Commission. In conclusion, honorable members, today's guidance has been informed by my solemn duty to facilitate the continuity of the business of this House. The House will be at a standstill without a clear guidance on the leadership of the House. It is so directed. We now go back to the debate on the presidential address.